Well, some aides to President Trump said he is now more seriously considering resuming combat operations in Iran. Trump said the ceasefire is, quote, on life support after he rejected Iran's counter proposal to end hostilities. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Harley Lippman, foreign policy expert back here on the Live Zone. Harley, it's always good to see you, my friend. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much. Good to see you as well.
Harley, as you just heard me make mention, we know that the president is yet again considering resuming combat operations. This, as Iran's top negotiator says, the U.S. will have to accept his country's peace plan or else American taxpayers will pay the price. What say you, Harley?
Well, of course, Iran is trying to provoke the United States and its citizens with their clever public relations and manipulation. But at the end of the day, Iran thinks that they're winning. They think they could outlast President Trump because they could pass on the suffering to their own people. It's a dictatorship. And they feel that President Trump has so many more pressures than they do. The media is hostile to the war in Iran. You have the midterm elections, the price of gas, and they feel that President Trump doesn't have the staying power. I think they're wrong on all the above. That they're miscalculating. And the important thing is for President Trump to stay with it because this war, as it has been conducted, has been a resounding success. It really has.
Let's move on to Germany, believe it or not, where in this case we know that President Trump's snap decision to pull some 5,000 U.S. troops out of Germany, well, it's not really pushing the needle, if you will, for European nations to enter the U.S. war with Iran or help Washington to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Would you say that is actually the case?
It may be, but more importantly, it's a powerful symbolic signal to Europe that they got to do more to protect themselves from the major threat, which is Russia. They have a real threat from Russia, who has attacked a European nation, Ukraine, and threatens other European nations. And in the back of everybody's mind in Europe, they think they can rely on the United States to protect them. Well, President Trump is telling them with this signal of the withdrawal of 5,000 American troops from Germany that you can't make that assumption anymore. The United States is looking for Europe to do more of its share in defending the continent, and it's working. I mean, his strategy of scaring Europe has been very effective. He got many European nations to pony up and spend as much as 5% of their GDP on defense, when historically they were supposed to spend 2%. They weren't even doing that. So I think he's getting Europe to do more for NATO than what President Obama and Biden were effective in doing. They weren't able to get European nations to spend more on their own defense. So I think this is another win for President Trump.
Yeah. Oh, we're making reference to European nations. Let's bring it back to the Gulf, if you will. In this case, the Gulf states and their role surrounding the conflict in Iran. What say you about that?
Well, what has come out of this is the extraordinary effectiveness, courage, and loyalty of the United Arab Emirates. When you think of the war that just took place with Iran, the United Arab Emirates was attacked almost 3 times more with missiles than even Israel was. Think what that says. Now, why is that? Because the UAE is a model of Muslim moderation. They have a church, a synagogue, and a mosque right next to each other in the United Arab Emirates. They have a thriving economy. People are relatively happy. They're not repressed. So this is a thriving, extremely successful nation, which is a huge threat to Iran. And the UAE has been with us 100%, and they've been very effective in countering the missile attacks from Iran. So we should support nations like the UAE and other Abraham Accord nations and give them priority when it comes to getting resupplied or new American military equipment. They've earned it and they deserve it. These are our best allies. They're fully in with the American alliance and supportive of our goals. The UAE, for example, far more loyal to the United States than looks like many European nations are that are members of NATO. So I think that we need to send the right signals to our friends to get more of them involved with the Abraham Accords and to be more involved with supporting America's goals in the region and in the world.
Harley, we'll end with this, and that is President Trump is set to depart for China today to meet with the Chinese president. The meeting between the two leaders comes at a very pivotal time in U.S.-China relations with the emergence of the Iran war. We know that China and Iran have a close strategic partnership. China isn't Iran's largest trading partner, or rather is, buying over 80% of its oil. Other topics on the table include the future of Taiwan. Of course, can't forget about trade. And oh, by the way, Harley, we definitely have to touch on AI. Do you think this trip will be very successful for both parties involved?
Yes, and I think they'll make sure that that's what, behind the scenes diplomacy is all about before a big summit like this, to make sure they both come away with wins. These are the two big superpowers in the world. And nothing's more important for the United States than its relationship with China. And same thing for the Chinese. The Chinese want to dominate, and they'd like to push us out of at least the Pacific, if not dominate the world economically. But they've got to work with the United States. And I'm very hopeful. I think what's going to be interesting is what's on President Trump's mind is to get leverage with China over Iran so the United States could have a win. And China's going to probably avoid that conversation or try to. Yet at the same time, China's going to want to talk about Taiwan and get the United States to say that they don't agree with Taiwan being a fully independent nation. And President Trump will probably try to avoid that. And China will probably want to talk about Japan, the Philippines, maybe South Korea, saying they've become more aggressive, a little more threatening to China. What can you do about that? So each have their own agendas, and each want to accomplish something from the other. And there may be some give and take, and we'll find out shortly what will come out of this.
Yet again, the president set to depart for China later today. We have also gotten word, Harley, that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will be traveling with the president as well. Mr. Harley Lippman, foreign policy expert, joining us right here on the Live Zone. It's always good to see you, Harley.
Good to see you too. Thank you.
We'll take a quick break. On the flip